Hey smart people, it's Wednesday, May 25th. My name is Reagan, and I came across an article written in the BBC. It was 2 days ago, Monday, and the lead is as follows, quote, "Why is climate doomism, in quotations, going viral and who's fighting it?" Very fascinating. Before we get into it, I'd like to just state the facts for the records that we have passed 420 parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere. We have hit record high levels of methane, ocean heat, methane content in the atmosphere, ocean heat content, and ocean acidification last year. These were new records set. So the fact that they can be making this a surprise is jarring and laughable, to say the least.
You are fired!
But it is mainstream media, so they're programmed to go along with the pledges and net zero adaptation. And
that's U.S. climate envoy John Kerry with his Chinese counterpart Jie Zhenhua to thrash out a concluding statement they could all live with.
And we arrive at what I believe is the moment of truth.
But truth had many forms here. For developing countries like India and China, which are still dependent on fossil fuels, there were objections over the one-size-fits-all phase-out of coal use that was being proposed.
Mitigation, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. So, keeping that in mind, I'm just going to read right through the article and see how you guys feel. It's written by Marco Silva. Graphic here of looks like smart phablets and cell phones with the earth melting. How creative. Read it right from the top. Quote, "Climate doomers," that's you and me, folks, "believe the world has already lost the battle against global warming." That's correct. Oh, but that's wrong. And while the view is spreading online, there are others who are fighting the viral tide. As he walked down the street wearing a Jurassic Park cap, Charles McBride raised his smartphone, stared at the camera, and hit the record button. "Okay," quote, "okay, TikTok, I need your help."
Big it out west, slang it out west. Go metallic. I just hit a lick with the box, had to put the stick. Don't say a word, word. I've been trapping on my own.
Charles is 27 and lives in California. 27 and using TikTok? Jeez, I have an issue there already. His quirky TikTok videos about news, history, and politics have earned him over 150,000 followers. Wow, sounds like we do the same thing, but I don't have 150,000 followers. Maybe because I'm not 27 and living in California. I missed my damn prime. I'm going to read the article. I'm sorry. In the video in question recorded on October 21st, he decided it was a time for confession. Quote, "I am a climate doomer," he said. Quote, "Since about 2019, I've believed that there's little to nothing we can actually do to reverse climate change on a global scale." Funny, I felt the same thing around the same time. Climate doomism is the same as idea that we're past the point of being able to do anything at all about global warming and that mankind is highly likely to become extinct. That's wrong, scientists say, but the argument is picking up steam online. Give me hope. Charles admitted to feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and depressed about global warming, but he followed up with a plea. Quote, "I'm calling on activists and scientists of TikTok to give me hope." He said, quote, "Convince me that there's something out there that's worth fighting for, that in the end we can carry victory over this, even if it's only temporary." Temporary victory? And it wasn't long before someone answered. Facing up to the doomers, the next section. Elena Wood is a sustainability scientist based in Tennessee. On TikTok, she's known as the Garbage Queen. After watching Charles' video, she posted a reply explaining in simple terms why he was wrong. Elena makes a habit of challenging climate doomism, a mission she has embraced with a sense of urgency. Quote, "People are giving up on activism because they're like, I can't handle it anymore. This is too much. And if it really is too late, why am I trying?" She said, quote, "Doomism ultimately leads to climate inaction, which is the opposite of what we need. Go tell Sally and Jim with 6 kids in a Chevrolet, Escalade down the street that they just bought last year. that they can't do any of that anymore. And it was a bad decision for them to have kids because each of those kids is like driving 25 brand new cars from start to finish. Yeah, no. Climate scientist Dr. Frederic Otto has been working with the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Oh, also sports, by the way. So no more sports, no more Dickie's barbecue, some loaded baked potatoes. Sorry, gotta cut it all out. No more Big Macs. McBurger King, we're out. Not even flame broiled Whoppers. None of it. None of it. No medicine, no diapers, no none of it, okay? None of it. Continuing, quote, I don't think it's helpful to pretend that climate change will lead to humanity's extinction. In most recent report, the IPCC laid out a detailed plan that it believes could help the world avoid the worst impacts of rising temperatures. It involves, quote, rapid, deep, and immediate cuts on emissions of greenhouse gases, which trap the sun's heat and make the planet hotter. Pretty straightforward, right? Seems to be lost amongst the public because we do not believe in data or evidence. This is true. Quote, there's no denying that there's a large changes across the globe and that some of them are irreversible, says Dr. Otto, a senior lecturer in the climate scientist at the Grantham Institute for Climate Change. Quote, it doesn't mean the world is going to end, but we have to adapt and we have to stop emitting. Right. Start adapting to no food on the shelves. Quote, fertile ground, the next section. Last year, the Pew Research ran in the U.S. a poll covering 17 countries focusing on attitude towards climate change. An overwhelming majority of respondents said they were willing to change the way they live to tackle the problem. But when asked how confident the world at the climate action would actually significantly reduce the effects of global warming, more than half said they had little to no confidence. Doomism taps into and exaggerates the sense of hopelessness. In Charles's case, it began with a community on Reddit devoted to the potential collapse of civilization. Quote, the most apocalyptic language I could find was actually coming from a former climate scientist, Charles says. Indeed. It's impossible to know whether the people who are posting on the messages Charles read were genuine scientists, but the post had a profound effect on him. He admits, I do think I fell down the rabbit hole. Elena Wood, the sustainability scientist, says Charles' stories are not unusual. Quote, I rarely at this point encounter climate denial or any other form of misinformation on social media, she says. It's not people who are saying fossil fuels don't cause climate change. It's people who are saying it's too late. TikTok's rules forbid misinformation that cause harms. We send the company some videos that Atlanta has debunked in the past. None of them found out how to violate the rules. TikTok says that it works with accredited fact checkers to limit the spread of false or misleading information. Young and pessimistic. That'd be you and me, girls. Although it can take many forms and thus difficult to accurately measure, Elena says doomism is particularly popular among young people. Case in point, there's people who are, and old people too. There's people who are climate activists and they're scared. They want to make change, but they need to spread fear-based content to do so. Then there's people who know the fear in general goes viral and they're just following the trends, or even if they don't necessarily understand the science. I've watched several of the videos she debunked. Invariably, they did feature young users voicing despair about the future. Quote, let me tell you why I don't know what I want to do with my life and why I'm not planning, says young woman. By the year 2050, most of us should be underwater from global warming. But that's a gross exaggeration of what climate scientists are actually telling us. A lot of that is often fatalistic humor, but people on TikTok are interpreting that as fact. But is Charles still among them? After watching Elena's debunks, he's still a climate doomer. I would say no, he tells me. I've convinced myself that we can get out of this. Oh, you convinced yourself? How are we going to get out of it? You're going to scale down 8 billion people? Stop emitting billions of tons of CO2 in the air? Oh, and draw down, 100 parts per million at least of CO2 in the atmosphere. And, change the whole way we transport and distribute goods across the globe. Is that what you're going to do, Charles? 27 California?
Code Red for humanity. A dire warning tonight from the United Nations about our planet's future.
People are tired. They're exhausted. The fires here on this island alone have been going on for more than 7 days. We're talking about these extreme, once-in-a-lifetime events that, Lindsay, now seem to be happening at least once a summer.
Look, guys, we're toast. Done deal. We're going to lose everything. You have no control. Live for the moment. Enjoy those around you. Spread joy. And enjoy your day. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao.